So as you can see, I've kind of shaped out his body and his face and his details. And what I'm going to do now, well, actually, just let me finish this. Forgot to do his hair. Just focus on how it looks on the picture, because you want the drawing to look exactly like the picture. I know it seems like a slow process, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. Alright, so yeah, there we go with that. Now let's start on the shading. This is probably one of the most difficult things in drawing, sketching, any type of art, because it takes very large amounts of time, and yeah, you really just need to focus on how to make this picture look good. So right now I'm going to put the details in that stand out at first, like eyes, for example. I'm going to fill in his eyes. Just make that look good. Make it look exactly like the picture. That's key. Well, I'm sure you all know that that's key. Adding detail and creativity is good too, but you want to do that after you're finished, so that you don't screw anything up. Just taking my time here because I want this to really be good. Okay, so what you want to do with shading is you want to make sure that you're getting every single detail on this guy onto the picture. So I've learned something called cross-hatching with shading. Cross-hatching is basically like this. Here, I'll show you on an example paper. When you're shading like this, to make it kind of blend in, you sort of do diagonal lines across it. But that is not the most efficient way to do things. So this is why these were invented. The blending stumps are one of the most important tools in drawing. You know why? Because of their name, blending. They shade so well. It's really cool. I'll show you what this does after I'm done kind of shading in a little bit. So you're just gonna have to watch as I just slowly darken and lighten. From dark to light, that's how you shade. From dark, slowly to light. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to color in his eyebrows. By the way, Stacy, you look really sexy in this picture. Just saying. Now, the key with shading is that when there's certain facial features like a nose that have like curves right here, you want to make that curve multiple times, but and going from dark to light. So see, watch. See that? So it's darker and then it's going lighter and it's making it start to look more real, more 3D-ish. And you want to do that with every little curve that you see. And I know right now it looks bad, but once you're done with doing that with every curve part, then it makes it look really good, trust me. I would know. So under the eyes, you don't want to make them too dark, because then it looks like Stacy's had a rough day. Which I hope he hasn't in this picture. And when there's little areas that are closed off, like this part under his eyebrow and above his eye, just shade that all the way in, because later you might want to have to erase a little bit, like if there's like a glare or something. So for example, this is a closed off area, and you want to slowly go from dark to light again, and in the middle there should be white. It should be white. So you can see the shading right here, but you want the middle of the closed off section to be white. So once I get to Stacy's cheek right here, it's going to be white, because I'm going to shade from all the way from his eye down to here, and from his jaw up to here, and from his nose to here, his ear to here. So anyway, that's what you need to do. You know, if you ever make a mistake, it's okay to erase some stuff. It's not hard to do. Same thing for his mouth. I know it looks open right now, but once you're finished with all the shading on it, it won't. It's one of those closed off areas. In fact, most of the areas on a drawing are closed off, so it's pretty easy to identify that, and it's quite easy to shade. And I know the shading looks kind of crappy right now, but once I use the most vital tool, the blending stump, it will look way good, I promise you. And blending stumps range to about 50 cents each. There's big, small, and medium. And the big ones are for larger areas, and the small ones are for smaller areas, obviously. I'm just going to erase something I did here. I hope you guys can see okay. I mean, I've never really done this before. Alright, now I'm going to start shading in his ear, which has multiple closed off areas. See how I'm slowly going dark to light, making it light in the middle. You gotta have that white circle there. Also, if there's a part like that's under something, like see my hands, this finger is over that finger that's casting a shadow onto that finger. That's a good thing to have in mind when you're shading. So like Stacy's arm right here, I would make the part under his arm darker since it's casting a shadow onto that. And same thing with like this part right here, and anything that's just over something that's casting a shadow. Now Stacy's face is not even close to being done. But right now I'm going to come back to his face. And right now I'm going to start with his hair. I usually like starting with the hair. Except for Mallory's hair. Her hair is fantastic. Alright. So I just grabbed a 4B pencil. This pencil creates darker streaks, much darker streaks than the pencil I was using before. It's good for like dark spots, like Stacy's suit and Stacy's hair, and maybe even Stacy's beard when we get to that, or his aftershave. And so I'm just going to outline it, kind of. Follow every detail on the picture. And right now I'm just going to color it in. Sometimes I have to turn the paper in order to get a better angle for my drawing. Not all of you have to do that, but it's just something that's easier for me. So right now that doesn't look very dark, so this is when we bring out the blending stump. You're going to take it, put it on its side, and just make soft streaks across. Blending stumps last a really, really long time. you don't have to worry about them getting dirty because that actually makes the shading much better. So see how it's no more like streaks? You can barely see any streaks. That's because I just blended everything I just did. Sorry, just let me adjust this. There we go, that's better. Is that better? Alright. And I'm going to go over one more layer of his hair. That's always smart to do. And once again, use my blending stump. I know it doesn't look like it's really making a difference, but trust me, if you were to draw in person using a blending stump, it actually does make a difference. It makes a huge difference. And I'm not going to add all the full detail later. Well, I am going to do it later, just not right now. So just wait on that for his hair. And I'm just going to start with the shading on his entire face. So dark to light from the edge of his face. Under his eyes, not too dark again. By his lips, by his nose, under his ear, in his ear, under the hair. You want to get it on every single edge so that you can eventually like shade everything in, blend everything in together to make it look more real. I'm going to use my blending stumps, and I'm going to blend all the areas I just barely shaded towards his face, towards the middle of his face. Just hang in there, guys. Sorry if it's getting boring. Art can be a boring thing, but trust me, it is so worth it in the end. So worth it. Okay, I screwed up on that part. I accidentally used charcoal. You want to shade his whole face in. His whole face. But I know that looks kind of skiwampus a little bit. So for every detail on the face that you would think a glare would reflect off of, erase. So like his cheek. Erase a little circle in there. And his forehead. The bridge of his nose. Under his eyes. And then just go over it again with the blending stump. Erase again on his lips. Now I'm going to start adding the real details on his face. This is where things start getting a little bit tricky. Alright, so right now I'm trying to fix Stacy's eye. I kind of messed up on that. Okay, now I'm going to start doing his beard. Now this is actually not that complicated to do. You just basically just do diagonal up and down lines where it is on the picture. And where it gets lighter, make it get lighter. Just go over another layer. Layer by layer is key. And then you want to kind of blend it, because if it stands out too much, that's all the people that are looking at it will focus on, and you don't want that. You want them to be looking at your whole masterpiece. So kind of blend it in. And I'm just adding just a little more shading just to make sure I have the full detail on his face. Alright, I think I'm done with his face. Now we just have to move on to the body. Just one more little thing here. Okay. We're gonna start with his hand. Hands are kind of difficult to draw, but in this case, his hand's kind of clenched up like this, so it's not that hard. So just don't worry about it. I mean, if you want lessons from me, I'm just saying hands are pretty difficult to shape out sometimes. So as you can see here, I'm shading in all the edges of his hand. The hand will not take very long at all, because all I need to do now is just blend everything in. Again, blend so it looks like it's white in the middle but dark on the edges, but you don't want it to be too dark on the edges because that stands out. And yeah. Alright, I think his hand's good. Now we're just... Pretty much I've showed you everything that is vital to do, but now we're going to go to working on his suit, which might prove difficult since it's such a big area of black, and that might waste a lot of my pencils, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I'd do anything for these people. They are amazing. Alright, so what you're gonna want to do, if you have a chance to get a dark pencil like this, a 4B pencil would be good. There's also 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, all the way to 7B. 7B being the darkest. So you're going to want to get a thick, dark pencil. If you want to use color pencils for black, then that's fine, but I use this because it's easier to blend with the other elements in his face and in his hand and other things. So right now I'm going to just color it in, just like a coloring book. Color in his suit. All the areas that ought to be colored in. Sorry if this gets boring. I'm not gonna skip it this time because you need to see this. know the streaks look crappy and I'm going out of the lines sometimes, but that's okay. As long as I use my eraser and my blending stump in the end, then I know how to make everything look better. Man, I think it's 11:30 right now. But I love all my followers on Instagram. They're just so precious to me. They're freaking awesome. I love you guys. Alright, so see here how his collar, I don't even know what the heck that's called, is like overshadowing this part of his suit. So that's why you're going to make this part a lot darker. Darker than the rest. You want that to stand out. Anyway, and color this in. I know if you're wanting art lessons, you're probably not going to do this same drawing, but you're just going to learn how I do it, how I do my shading, and my blending, and highlighting and stuff, so I'm going to go do the same thing with his arm, just like the, I don't know what to call it, collar. I think it's a collar. And just since it's overshadowing his upper body, it's easier to tell that it's his arm. Alright. I'm just going to shade this in. Well, not shade it, just color it in. Shading will come later. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can find my giant blending stump. I have a giant one. And the tip is about the size of my thumb. So that would really help with these large areas. Okay, today I'm going to use a medium-sized blending stump because I can't find my big one. But for references, if you guys want to be good at this, you're going to want to use a large one for the large areas like this. I know this art is probably not amazing, but I am 14, and I love what I do, and I know how to do what I do, so I just hope that I'm helping y'all out with how I'm doing this. I gotta sharpen my pencil. Electric sharpeners are always good, and they're a lot faster, but I would recommend a handheld sharpener because they actually chisel the graphite better, making it easier to draw. This is probably the most boring part of drawing, filling in stuff. But once you blend it all, it looks really nice. At least I think it does. Once again, the overshadow. Okay, we're almost done here. Now I just need to blend everything that I just colored in. So I'm just going to take my blending stump and go crazy with it. You just basically have to get everything you just colored in. Man, I really wish I had my giant blending stump. I cannot find that. I'll find it next time if you guys want me to post future videos. Just comment below if you want me to. If you think I suck, then also comment that. But I really appreciate the support. Sometimes humming makes me focus better on what I'm doing, soothes my brain, and I also listen to music because it's really just quite boring just sitting here moving your hand 100 million times. But once again, it's all worth it in the end. Never doubt that. Alright, I'm just going to layer some of the undershadows one more time and then we're going to be done here. Because you want some shadows to stand out. And some you don't. The ones you do want to stand out are the undershadows. The ones that are being overshadowed by the other lines. Alright, I think we're pretty close here. What do you guys think? Does that look pretty accurate? I think I'm done. I might blend a little bit later. I'm not sure, but right now I'm just gonna add my signature. Add my Instagram. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me and for helping me to want to do this YouTube video. So, hope you all have a great day. And I will see if I can make sure you subscribe. So, in case I do future videos that you can watch them. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.